A spark in the dark. Ambassador Elias Carter stood in the grand chamber of the Zyphar High Council, his expression calm but firm. The towering alien lords, draped in flowing ceremonial robes, regarded him with a mixture of amusement and contempt. The Galactic Empire had ruled the stars for over 5,000 years, and to them, humanity was nothing more than another fledgling species. Useful, perhaps, but insignificant. "This is a mistake," Carter said, his voice carrying across the chamber. "Humanity does not seek war, but we will not be subjected to your empire's tyranny. We demand equal representation in galactic affairs, or we will remain independent." A ripple of laughter moved through the council members. The Emperor's chief advisor, High Chancellor Vorik, leaned forward. His reptilian face twisted into a smirk. "Equal representation? Your kind does not understand its place. The Galactic Empire spans thousands of worlds, hundreds of species. You are fortunate we even grant you an audience." Carter clenched his fists, taking a deep breath. This wasn't unexpected. The Empire had long treated humanity as an upstart race, unwilling to recognize their rapid advancements in science, industry, and warfare. But Earth's leadership had hoped diplomacy would prove fruitful. The Emperor himself sat in an elevated throne, his golden eyes studying Carter. For a brief moment, there was silence. Then, the decision came. "The Council has spoken," the Emperor declared, his deep voice echoing through the chamber. "Humanity will not be granted sovereignty within the Empire. You will submit, or you will be crushed." Carter remained still, his heart pounding. "Then we remain free." High Chancellor Vorik smiled, pressing a hidden command on his wrist device. Before Carter could react, the chamber's side doors burst open. A squad of Imperial guards stormed in, their plasma rifles aimed directly at him. "This is a violation of interstellar law," Carter shouted. "You cannot." A single gunshot rang out. A plasma bolt struck him in the chest. Carter staggered, his expression frozen in shock. He collapsed to his knees, blood pooling beneath him. The guards fired again, ensuring there was no chance of survival. The council chamber remained eerily silent. No gasps of horror, no protests. This was a message. Vorik turned to the Emperor. "The Terrans will learn their place soon enough." The Emperor nodded, but said nothing. Deep down, he wondered if they had just made a grave mistake. The video footage of Carter's execution spread across the galaxy within hours. The Zyphar Empire had expected outrage from a few alien factions, but what they hadn't anticipated was humanity's response. On Earth, the United Terran Federation's Emergency Council convened. The chamber, usually filled with endless debates and political maneuvering, was silent as the holographic display replayed the execution. The final shot, the lifeless body of their diplomat collapsing to the floor, played on a loop. President Evelyn Rains, leader of the UTF, stood at the center. Her face was devoid of emotion, but her hands trembled with barely restrained fury. "Is there any question?" she asked, her voice low. Admiral Marcus Holloway, commander of the UTF fleet, shook his head. "None. The Empire believes we will cower, that we will beg for mercy. They believe us weak." A murmur spread through the chamber. Some officials shifted uncomfortably. The Galactic Empire controlled vast fleets, entire armadas that had crushed rebellions before they could even begin. But this was different. This wasn't a rebellion. This was war. Defense Minister Lena Vasquez stepped forward. "We cannot afford hesitation. If we do not strike now, we will forever be seen as prey." President Rains exhaled slowly, then nodded. "Then it is decided." She turned to the massive screen behind her, which displayed the military readiness status of the UTF forces. "Activate the Black Dawn Directive. Effective immediately." A silence fell over the room, but it wasn't hesitation. It was the silence of an entire civilization bracing itself. The Black Dawn Directive had been designed for one purpose: total-scale war. A war not for survival, but for dominance. Across Earth and its colonies, alarms blared. Warships that had remained hidden in deep space docks powered up. Factories shifted to full-scale wartime production. Elite soldiers boarded drop ships, knowing they were heading into the fight of their lives. Humanity had been patient. Humanity had hoped for peace. But now, the Empire had shown its true face. And in return, humanity would show them more. The war machine awakens. The silence of the battlefield was shattered by the thunderous roar of the war machine. After years of dormancy, it had awakened, its metal joints creaking as it rose from its slumber. The air was thick with tension as soldiers on both sides held their breath, watching in awe and terror. The machine's eyes glowed a fiery red, scanning its surroundings with an intelligence that seemed almost unnatural. Its towering frame cast a long shadow over the ground, a harbinger of destruction. With a single, calculated step, it crushed the remnants of an old bunker beneath its massive foot, signaling the beginning of a new era of warfare. General Alistair, the mastermind behind its reactivation, stood atop a hill, a wicked grin spreading across his face. Finally, he muttered, "The war is ours to win." The opposing forces scrambled to react. Tanks rolled forward, and fighter jets soared through the sky. But the war machine was unlike anything they had ever faced. Bullets ricocheted harmlessly off its reinforced armor, and missiles exploded against its hull, leaving only minor dents. With every movement, it demonstrated an unmatched blend of power and precision. As it advanced, the machine unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, tearing through enemy ranks with devastating efficiency. Soldiers screamed, running for cover, but there was no escape. The battlefield was turning into a graveyard of twisted metal and fallen warriors. Despite the overwhelming force, a small resistance group remained determined. Led by Captain Reynolds, they knew conventional weapons were useless. They needed a strategy, a weakness to exploit. As the war machine wreaked havoc, Reynolds and his team moved in the shadows, searching for the key to its downfall. The night was filled with fire and smoke, but the battle had only just begun. The tides of vengeance. The war machine's rampage had left the battlefield in ruins, but the resistance was far from broken. As dawn broke over the smoldering remains of the city, Captain Reynolds and his team regrouped in a hidden underground bunker. Their faces were weary, but their resolve had only strengthened. "We can't fight it head-on," Reynolds stated, spreading a tattered map on the table. "But every machine has a weakness. We just need to find it." Meanwhile, General Alistair reveled in his newfound power, watching from his command center as his creation continued its path of destruction. "Let them try to resist," he sneered. "They will know the true meaning of despair." But the tides of war were shifting. Intelligence reports revealed a potential flaw in the war machine's core, a power source that, if overloaded, could bring the behemoth down. With time running out, Reynolds and his team set out on their most dangerous mission yet. Under the cover of night, they navigated through the war-torn city, evading patrols and automated drones. Every step brought them closer to the towering colossus that loomed like a god of destruction. The plan was simple yet deadly: infiltrate, sabotage, and escape before the inevitable explosion. As they approached, alarms blared, and the battle reignited. The war machine turned its glowing red eyes upon them, recognizing the threat. With a deafening roar, it unleashed a storm of firepower, forcing the resistance fighters into a desperate sprint. Explosions lit up the night as Reynolds reached the machine's exposed core. With seconds to spare, he planted the device that would send the behemoth crashing to the ground. A single button press, and the tides of vengeance would wash over their enemy. As the team fled, the sky ignited in a fiery spectacle. The war machine let out a final, monstrous wail before collapsing into a heap of burning metal. The resistance had struck back, but the war was far from over. The wrath of humanity. The fall of the war machine sent shockwaves across the battlefield. Smoke and fire painted the sky, but amidst the destruction, hope flickered. The resistance had delivered a crushing blow, yet they knew the war was far from over. General Alistair, furious at the loss of his ultimate weapon, clenched his fists as he watched the wreckage from his command post. "They dare defy me? Then they shall feel the true wrath of humanity," he roared, slamming his fist on the control panel. With a single command, Alistair unleashed his next wave of destruction. Experimental war drones, equipped with advanced AI and lethal firepower, swarmed across the battlefield. These machines were faster, deadlier, and programmed to exterminate anything that stood in their path. Reynolds and his team barely had time to celebrate their victory before the new threat emerged. Explosions rocked the ground as drones descended like a storm of metal and death. The resistance fighters scattered, taking cover as bullets and energy blasts tore through the ruins. "We need to fall back," one of Reynolds' men shouted, but the captain shook his head. "No, this is our chance. If we run now, we'll never stop them. We fight now." Rallying the remaining forces, Reynolds led a counterattack. With stolen enemy weapons and sheer determination, the resistance struck back. Urban warfare erupted in the ruined city streets as humans fought not just for survival, but for vengeance. The battle was brutal. Every inch gained was paid for in blood and fire. The resistance had no advanced technology, no war machines of their own, only their wits and the unbreakable will to survive. And against all odds, they began to turn the tide. One by one, the drones fell, their circuits fried by EMPs, their metal husks shattered by explosives. Humanity refused to bow. Alistair watched in disbelief as his perfect machines crumbled. "Impossible," he muttered. But deep down, he knew this war was no longer about machines. It was about the indomitable spirit of mankind. And the wrath of humanity had only just begun.